I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for November 12th, selectmen's meeting. Second. All in favor? Q. Payroll and AP is taken care of. Planning board has requested Board of Selectmen attend a workshop on the 26th, immediately following the Board of Selectmen meeting. Good to go. All right, Cornhill Road street sign issue. So, Cliff, you got a complaint, correct, about people turning around in a driveway?
According to the person that's called, the GPS is telling the particular road that's supposed to be Cornhill Road is not. It's going down the Nerd Drive.
Yeah.
It used to be Cornhill. Years ago.
Right.
It's not. And I guess the particular person that lives in there, it's not. Took the sign down, which says it used to be Cornhill.
Right.
Now the sign is missing.
Okay.
And people are not recognizing.
Right.
That used to be Cornhill and going into her driveway. Because the GPS is telling them that.
Right. Okay, the sign with Cornhill. Chief, we discussed this yesterday. It is an active fire lane. There's not a town maintained road. However, it is an active fire lane. And this was addressed June 28th of 22. And we need to get the sign back up. I would propose to the board that we put sign up. Now, the fire lane, they don't do it by number, it's by name, correct?
Out.
Right. Right.
It has to have a name on it.
Okay. So anybody know where the sign is that was up?
This is the homeowner on the. Well, it lives on the road.
But there was for a sign up there, it was just an old wooden stuck up there on the tree.
Okay.
It wasn't a regular street sign.
Okay, so we'll.
One stuck on the tree with a plywood.
Okay, so we'll please order a sign, and then on a secondary sign to go underneath that, not a through way. Because that's what's going to create a whole nother problem. GPS will take you in there. The reason I asked for the land abutters on Cornhill is for that reason. It is an active fire lane. The town has not given up the cognizance of that being a fire lane. It is not a driveway. It is deeded access to whoever owns property up there, regardless of who owns what, either side. That Cornhill was, I believe, well over 100 years ago, and then the town decided to discontinue the maintenance of that road, but it did not give up the fire lane access. And it's just a quick deed search. It is deeded access for anybody that lives up there. So we'll put the sign up, and yeah, I want to make sure we put the sign up so hey, everybody knows, don't steal our sign. It is illegal to do. Leave it alone. That way it's good. GPS, we have no control over that whatsoever. I actually, as a tow guy, make pretty good money off of GPS because they especially seasonal roads. It's awesome.
So the town has, all our towns that we maintain are green. Private ways are blue.
Correct.
So this is gonna be a blue Cornhill because it's not maintained.
Dickie, what would we be required, blue or green, because it's an active fire lane?
It's not a private way. It's private ways are blue. Town ways are green, so that be green sign.
Green sign.
It's on the other end, it's a green sign also.
Yeah, on Hampshire side. Yeah, that's green. Yeah, that's green.
We got a green, that's where we go.
Yep, green.
Green it is.
So do I have the abutters or the property owners there? Any issues?
Yeah.
What's the issue?
Well, you go for.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm Gary Mott, I own the property that money crosses. So before I purchased that property, I had a real estate attorney do a search to make sure there were no right of ways. Nobody had any deeds to that property other than me. It was free and clear of any deeds, any right of ways. So my legal deed from the state of Maine, Registry of Deeds, shows Cornhill Road is to my west. That's what my legal deed from the state of Maine says, is the west, not the south. So the road that you're claiming is Cornhill is to the south of my property, which is my driveway. And then also on the town website, your website shows Cornhill where it belongs, not through my property. So I've done my legal research. My legal research says Cornhill is not on my property. Never been labeled as Cornhill on my property. The sign that was on the telephone pole was my sign because when I ordered deliveries while I built my house, they went to Hampshire Road and most of my deliveries ended up back where they came from because they couldn't find me. So that's the only reason I put a Cornhill sign road up for my deliveries. So my deed shows Cornhill is to the west of me. And the gentleman that owns that land on the opposite side is Caleb, and I'm pretty sure his deed will show Cornhill is to the east of his property. So it does not cross my property by law. Legally, the legal deed, I spoke to the registry of deeds in Maine. They said Cornhill does not cross my property. You may use it as a fire road, but it's not a legal road. It's my right of way. I own that property free and clear. No deeds, no right of ways, no nothing. I wouldn't have bought it if there was a right of way across it. So I own that property going on 13 years and I just built my house last year. And people dump all sorts of waste, furniture, rolled up carpet, just trash on my property because they get to cut through it. So
Is
that's
that-
where I say.
Can I ask a question? You know, the road where you had the, homemade sign, whatever.
Yeah.
If you heading towards Conway, the next driveway on the left,
Yeah,
that's the one.
at the bottom of the hill, which
That's her driveway.
that's what all these deeds show, and this Cornhill. Because why would Cornhill go straight and do a hard dog leg to the right? So the woman I bought the property from originally, Eleanor, she had passed away in 2022 from 2020 from COVID. I spoke to her in depth about that property, and the only reason that cut through is there is when she was a child, she said the horses pulling the carriages didn't want to go down the hill and then back up the hill. So they just use it as a cut across. And that property had been in her family's possession for 150, 200 years. So she said, I know all about it. And I asked her if that was Cornhill, and she said it is not. Cornhill continues straight to the bottom of the hill. And that's what my deed shows. I have copies if you'd like to see it.
Yeah, if you wanna leave a copy, I'll get it to the town's attorney. No problem.
So this is what was on your website, which it shows Cornhill goes here, and then it goes up to Mary's house, which it doesn't, because Cornhill continues here. And this is my prop. And then this is my deed. Cornhill is to the west, and then on the next page, I labeled where I think it turns this way, okay? So that's north, south, east, and west. That's my property. This is Center Conway Road going into Conway, going into Brownfield. So Cornhill goes here straight through to Hampshire Road. It doesn't come down here and go to the right. And even your website shows it comes here and goes to Mary's house, which is wrong, sorry. But it continues straight. So there is no legal road. My document from the state of Maine, I mentioned to them that I was coming here. They said, if I have any issues, they will assist me further with this situation. So.
Well, this is attachment, I'm sorry, I don't. Two, 3, so this comes up. So they're coming from here.
Right.
Where'd this sign go?
There hasn't been one down there forever, as far as I know. That,
So that's where it needs to be.
Wow, the problem is that lady there, I don't know her name, she put a driveway in. You know, basically across here and up through here, something like that. So it crosses the end of this road, but now. She's saying.
One way or the other, one of them has to be a fire lane. Because that's the,
So it might be a year better, I'm sorry. That tree was put in 20 years ago, for the people who built her house originally. They ended up with a deeded right of way coming up there because the woman I bought the property from allowed them to put power in. So if you'll see, you could look further. The power company has a deeded right of way for their power lines to get to her house. They don't abut that road. They live on the other side of Caleb's property. They don't even abut that street. So they have a deeded right of way as well. They use that road. They don't own it. And that driveway was put in 25 years ago.
But just try to make it clear for me that if that driveway actually, if you turned off Center Conway Road, you'd be on Corn Hill Road. And then it goes into her private driveway.
Her driveway hooks to the right and goes up to her property.
Right,
So where Cornhill Road comes in off of Center Conway, she doesn't even own that land. They're on the opposite side of that property.
oh, I see
So
what
they
you're
don't
saying.
even abut the road. They have a legal deed right of way.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
so. Located southerly side of Center Conway Road. So right here. Boundary survey plan, wide easement over land. Eleanor Peterson. On the southerly side. So that's the southern side, correct? Yeah, because there's Painbrook.
That's basically a goat path from your driveway to the.
It's all just that true. So people didn't go to the bottom of the hill and then back up the paved road.
I remember we visited this years ago.
Yeah, 22.
It's just a short distance, right?
Oh, very sure.
Walk across my property.
Right.
It is, but
I'm not disputing that.
it's
but I'm
still
just-
my property.
Right, I understand that, but
And
I'm
there's a
just,
liability issue as well.
I'm just trying to get in my mind, because I've been up there a million times, so I know what you're
I'd
talking
invite anyone to look to see the situation and, walk the property.
about. I'm just trying to make sure that I know what you're talking about, that's
Okay.
All right, so we'll table this and get it to the town's turn.
Let me,
I have thought.
you, okay, that's what you want. Okay.
Yeah, but you forget one. Okay. You got it? I turned it in there.
You were showing.
Got it. School. Sure. Not very well. Really? I do. Because place north. If you look at this. Oh, that road, it comes straight up. If you go up towards Conway side. Crosses over, it goes back in Hangtown, or that's where it's going to look went. So, but what I don't understand, was we discussed this before, and it wasn't a problem. Now it's a problem. I get it.
The only problem like is that little shortcut that goes across, that's on his property. That's
Reed is really deep, a 66-foot easement across that little Clayton's property for it. On his deed. From, I don't know, whatever it was. So. All right, okay. Oh, yeah. Good way. That's, what's that?
That they use it for design, Mary Lane or something. This is
Maybe.
when people come down, they will look at the okay, this ain't going on.
Yeah, as long as we can maintain the fire lane. That's our cognizance is.
Talking about that. The issue is people who are in their road. Buy a sign for her,
Yeah,
neighbor driveway, whatever. Thank you.
yeah. Dickie, can we change fire lane name?
Road names,
Yes.
you can, but. You. Don't know whether it's right, that continues all the way through. You know, it's the same issue like you got down on Misty Lane, so they just broke off part of that native Indian trail.
Oh, yeah,
Because they never did anything with it, now that we've opened it up,
yeah.
you got you got a road that's continuous, who's two names on it. Yeah.
Well, it's like Main Street and Hampshire Road.
But,
You know what I mean?
What I'm saying is. The GPS is calling this Cornhill. Okay. But they're coming down, yeah, but they're coming down into her driveway.
Right.
I'm saying rename her. Put a sign on her name, Mary's Drive or something. And then when somebody's GPS and they see that her driveway is whatever it wants to be, then they'll.
That's what I don't understand is. This is Cornell, right?
Hmm.
Well, this is Cornell.
This is Pembroke. What they're doing is. This is this guy's land here.
Right.
And that's his fire
They're
lane.
just going straight here.
Yes.
So why can't we
And,
just
but they're,
have
they're
that?
coming down to here. And this is Mary's.
Right, well, what I'm saying is why is it this here? Bordering his property, we just do that. To
Hmm.
connect it to Cornell so that we can maintain that fire line to get up into the backside of that mountain. Cause if we don't, if something breaks out up there, we're screwed.
Right.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
he's. I think the issue is that she just don't want. People are missing this. And they're coming up in her driveway.
Right, no, I understand that, but what I'm saying is if,
Because I don't think he had an issue of letting us use that.
well, he can't, cause he doesn't own the
Okay,
property.
but
That's his lot right there.
The only issue
He's
we
only
got
got
right,
4 acres.
the only issue we have is. Her having people coming up in her
Right,
driveway.
well, that's what I'm saying, is if we do away with this and just continue it down his property line right here to Mill Street, what's the difference? We have access.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you're saying put a sign like here, directing people to go straight up? And so,
Yeah.
and then what if you put a sign right there saying private way, no entry or
Right,
something?
exactly.
Right.
Private drive. You know what I'm saying? So, but that still allows us some way to get up into here. Because there are people up in here that he was
Yeah.
giving, was flat out saying, that's my property, you will not cross it. Well, no, you can't take away that deeded access. Cause he's saying, his claim is it's to the west of him. Well, that is to the west. Because this would be north. So it is westerly.
Mhm.
It's easterly of this property, which is that Caleb guy. But you've got a camp up here or up here somewhere.
Yeah.
There's a camp up here somewhere that they've owned for 40 years, longer before he bought.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I know reading that there, I go down and see Pudge. Pudge owned that property.
Yeah.
Pudge is on that deed.
Yes.
So if anybody knows that property, that man does. Because he's been a wood bugger his entire life.
That Cornhill come down and it came down to. I
So this
think
is
it's
what
like Michael's Lane or whatever. then it
Right,
came
this is what I
across.
don't understand is they're talking that this here says that there's a 90-degree dock leg.
Mm-mm.
Getting the hell did anybody ever do a 90-degree dog leg out here? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Unless there was an absolute necessity.
They don't do that.
I can't say for sure, but it seems like to me that driveway. That the road
Take
be
your note of
improved,
those fingers, pal.
right? Is that it right there?
I'm assuming that he's got it marked, as it, yeah.
All right. Where are they?
This is his property.
Yeah.
And he's saying that he just said that the property is the road is westerly. So that's west.
Mhm.
So, right, well, I just, it makes no sense that this here is a 90-degree dog leg to get up around just to cut out that little piece. You know what I mean?
Right.
I would put money that it went here and then back up Mill Street over to the rest of Cornhill.
Right.
Not, you know what I mean? Cause a 90-degree corner back then, come on. They weren't cutting shit like that.
No.
So. Let me,
I think I take a look at it.
yeah,
So
we'll
we
do
know
that.
what to talk about. Sure, you know what I mean? That might not be all right.
Well, that's just it, that, well, that's. I mean, essentially, that's tax map.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
know they're not.
no, not even close. So it should say on here.
I'm gonna.
O'Donnell, I didn't date it. Revised to April 1 of 2020. Yeah, see. For assessment purposes only, not for property conveyances.
Hmm.
So, yeah, that's not the. Where's the, yeah,
Wasn't there just another map?
well,
What's the other map shows? Does that say?
well, that's our tax map off the website. And tax maps are definitely not right.
So in our map quest tonight before I got here, and it shows it a little different.
Yeah,
Yeah, on map quest.
okay. All right, so we're gonna look into that. See what we gotta do. All right, we have estimates for security cameras at the community center, whole system inside and out. And just so everybody knows, I highly recommend we do this because on the back of the building, there are resolution cameras that can come out and catch the playground because at some point in the past couple of days, or nights, however they come in, somebody actually shit on the slides out here. So, yeah, and we've had issues, tearing into the sheds out there, vehicles going out and just tearing up the property. So maybe we can try to get a handle on that. It's 32 channel, 16 terabyte hard drive, indoor, outdoor IR night cameras. He came up, walked through the building with Willie, totals 9866. And that's all labor and equipment included. So I will make a motion that we contract this or the rec center, community center.
Is that the camera gonna cover the area like in that parking area where
Everything.
everything?
He's got multiple outside ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll second it. Wait,
Discussion, problems.
Yep.
All in favor?
Well, that doesn't have to go for bid for 3 bids.
No. Ideal Security's been providing our security. He actually does the security over there as well.
That's what we have at Public Works. Is that right?
So that's who you contracted with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all in favor? Linda, not a cat.
Mhm.
And the second one is for the security system in this building. It's 24 years old. And with the ADA assessment, the interior door has to be removed for accessibility. So he has to move it anyway, because the interior door is the one that's got the little chip at the top there and the keypads here. That's all gonna get moved anyway. No need to throw things there, CEO. Easy, easy, okay? No need to disrupt.
The cameras,
So it's the new screen, touch screen, door contact, motion detector, glass break detector, panic button, and low temp, which I added in case that way we don't lose the pipes. So somebody will be notified. Total on that's 2377. So I'll make a motion to expend 2377 for this building's security system.
Second it.
Favor? Okay. We got a proposal on placing shoulder gravel on Burnt Meadow Road where they just did the 1.5-inch overlay. First one, if they, and it was 6384 if they provided the gravel, or 3360 if we did, and you're good with supplying the gravel and working out details. Okay, so I would make a motion, we accept the 3360 for the gravel shoulder placement on Burnt Meadow Pond. Okay, all in favor? Thank you. You want me to sign this one?
Sure. And she can. We have female that's going tomorrow also.
Okay. So I think on the slides. Public Safety Building Committee meeting minutes are on the web as of yesterday for the meeting that was held 10/17. MMA issue on cannabis enforcement webinar. It's gonna be December 18th. Just this is a cooperative agreement between Bureau of Parks and Lands, Department of Agriculture, Conservation and Forestry, and the Saco River Rec Council, dated 23 May, I believe, 23 or 25 May 18. The state is the Saco River Rec Council is committed to assisting the state in operating, maintaining, and improving the facilities for the boat launch down here at the Green Bridge. Really sure why this was in here, but okay.
Folks. There are 2 or 3 issues contained in that document that I would like at some point in time to be able to discuss with the Board of Selectmen. However, I did not intend to take up the time meeting such as this. There's several months of time before anything that's I'm concerned about is in there. For instance, when I was on the board, remember we used to host the meeting here.
Yeah.
We even had the state cops come in and
Yep.
and there were 2 or 3 members of that Saco council or whatever.
Tagliaferri. Bob Tagliaferri, I remember him. Yeah.
They would say, when are you gonna get the police down there? We need the cops on
Yeah.
Sunday afternoon. Well, if you read that, the state of Maine gives the Saco River Recreation Council close to $3,000 a year to do that. So I don't know what they're doing with the $3,000, but they would say to the town, you better make sure the state police are down there.
Well, I remember the discussion we had with Oxford County when Gallant was here, and yeah, they were trying to figure it out.
And in there, there's also from Memorial Day until Labor Day, the Saco River Recreation Council, or whatever, is responsible for that state area down there as far as cleaning it up and just things like that.
Right.
And when you talk to them, they'll say, oh, we have to send someone over from the campground to pick up the, well, they're supposed to send someone over. It's supposed to be done every day of the week. But right now, what I've noticed, and this has gone on now for close to a year and a half or so, there's a pole. And on the pole, it says, please put propane bottles in barrel. The barrel's been gone for about 2 years, but there's plenty of those bottles laying around the ground there. And those things need to get picked up and brought, for instance, to our spot up here and put it in the metal box. But there they sit. There's several things that either one side or the other, either the state or that council, isn't pulling their weight as far as keeping that contract up. And I don't think the town of Brownfield should be sending people down there to do this or that when it's up to the council or the state to maintain.
Yeah, the dumpster's out of there now, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it always is right after the day.
Right.
And there's a new outfit that's competing. Who they are, I've read the name, but
Yeah, Tony Waco, yeah.
so they should be informed of some of this stuff too. I'll bet they haven't.
Okay, why don't we set up a workshop to go over this, and then we can reach out to the Saco River corridor.
It needn't be a long one, because I just told you everything.
Well,
My concern is that barrel is missing. And those propane tanks that are getting tossed over there.
Right.
And in the summertime. They've got the $3,000 to schedule the trolls in there. I don't think that the town should be concerned with whether or not Oxford County is showing up down there or not.
Right. Yeah. All right. Hazard communication emergency action plan. Yeah, calendar to bill. So, planning to this. Oxford County Board of Commissioners, Miss Lane and Miss Day. Commissioners, please present you with a certificate of appreciation and recognition of your tireless dedication to the Oxford County community. There will be a honor 2024 Spirit of America Award on Thursday, December 5th at the Oxford County Courthouse at 9 a.m. You guys commuting?
Ada probably won't make it, but I will.
Okay, cool. All right. Planning board, just next meeting is December 3rd, posted on the web. Maine DOT bridge replacement at Merrill Corner Road over Shepherd's River. There's an online notice of formal on-demand public meeting Brownfield. It's online.
Mills Corner.
Yeah, Maris Corner Bridge. It's on, this is actually on the website as well. So if people want to check that out. I already talked about that. Planning board minutes posted to the web. So the site walk that was done November 11th by the planning board is posted on the web. Cliff, that's for you. All right, we have a communication form. Please. Dated November 18th. One to Allen, 44 Moody's Meadow. Clear cutting property, noise from construction 7 days a week. Building without permits, filling in granite. Something on top of hill. Dome. Oh, okay. Yep, so, first thing I will address. Mike, are there any, are there permits for this 44 Moody's Meadow?
No.
Oh,
That's,
okay,
that's asking.
all right,
This is
So-
on.
okay.
So, sorry, it's sort of a two-part thing. I'm sorry if I ramble about it, but. There was a 20-acre parcel that was recently purchased and, it's a heavily wooded, lot. And it was one of the few lots that around in Brownfield that didn't get hammered by the gypsy moss, like, a little bit. But anyways, I found out like the day before that, they were gonna clear cut the property. So it seems to be a little bit of a trend in Brownfield lately that people are coming and clear cutting properties. And while they have the right to go up to boundary lines, it's what's not happening is that there's no assessment about what it does for damaging other people's property. So we're all downhill from this particular property now. And because it's clear cut, and I've lived there for 10 years, my land runs the whole length of this clear cut. And I'm at the bottom of it. So what's happening is that it's, I'm gonna get all the water, all the rain, all the wind, everything. Then I have to do it, like it comes on to me to have to deal with the repercussions of what's happening. And I've talked to other people, like even this cutting out here, out behind this building, has caused other people, now their basements are flooding because the trees are gone. So people can do what they want, but at the same time, they have to understand that when you take 20 acres of trees out of a situation that have been there for a very long time, that it causes effects to everything else. And then there's a bog down at the bottom. And although it's not considered a saved bog or something that's special, it's still a bog. And now there's talk of putting in a beach. And so I can't stop what this person is doing. However, there were no permits to do this to start out with. And they are also at the summit of this property. It's very granite ledging and that sort of thing. But at the summit is a granite dome, and it's a huge granite dome. And so they've been using machines the size of this building and just beating on the top of that. And they dug a pit 20 feet deep that still has granite at the bottom of it. And they're going to build a house on top of this. And they're just bringing in endless truckloads of sand all day long. And what they're doing with that, I don't know, but I think they're filling in the dome. And so I think there's part of me, well, I'm concerned of what that's going to do environmentally to my property. But also I think if you ask anybody in this room, do you want your neighbor to clear cut right up to your property line? They would probably say no. So even though it's legal in Maine, it would be really nice if there was a buffer zone to everybody, so that, they don't, who knows what's next, like what are they gonna haul in next? And I moved to Brownfield to live in the forest. And my forest got hammered by the gypsy moss. And I pulled out hundreds of trees. So now I had I had the forestry guy from Day Logging come in, and he walked the land with me. And he said, our forests are dying, they're struggling. So if a logging company is sending out their forestry guys saying, shit's hitting the fan with our forests, then there needs to be a little bit of responsibility on the people's part that just come in and decide they want to take it off. However, the logger of the same company said to me, I'm just doing what I'm told, even though I know it's wrong. And so there's no accountability for anybody, except for I'm gonna be held accountable to have to deal with the wind, the noise that comes down off the property because now there's no trees and he's sitting up at the top. So every noise, and they are there from 6:30 in the morning until dark every day with heavy equipment. And I know the loggers will be out of there soon, but then it's the carpenters building the house and stuff. And we live on Rudy's Meadow. It is the quietest street. Like we are all in bed by 6 o'clock. Like, it's a quiet place. And now all of a sudden it's just like, just full score listening to machinery all day long. And we have no, like, how do we deal with that? Because one person comes in and decides they want their whatever, their meadow up in their forested mountain, you know, there was no concern. And I asked Jen and Matt if I could speak with the owner and express my concerns, and there was no follow that. There was no communication, no anything. So the good neighbor policy is not working. And so what do, you know, and also, is it legit for them to be filling in a granite dome to build a house on that? I mean, that much sand up on a mountain, or to stump that hill, you know, to stump it would make it even worse, because then all the runoff's gonna come down onto my land, into Dave Grant's land, and we're all concerned about that, you know. So my concern is, now I can't do anything, the trees are down, so, but I'm voicing the concern that if there's a problem, who is responsible for it, you know, in that sense, because I'm working on forest restoration at my house. I just planted 130 trees, so and then turn around and have somebody do that, and now I can lose everything. So what is there a situation for that can be remedied? And why are they allowed to do this without permits, you know?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but as a property owner, you can clear your property, correct? There's no permit requirements.
So I mean, I think she holds some valid points. I mean, being a neighbor and a butter. The problem is that it does come down to tight code enforcement. There's nothing really for us. You're allowed to clear cut your land. You know what I mean? You talk about digging, doing different things. We don't have control over what somebody does on their property until it impacts somebody else. So the theory that she'll take on water, it's plausible. I mean, I can't sit here and say no. Would it be nice if we had to run them through the planning board and say, look, we need a rainwater runoff? It's not in the code. It's not in an ordinance. They don't need permits for that. So at this point of the juncture, I've been up there, and I see no violations. So that's right now. Whatever the future plans, that'd be great. You know, I mean, all the permits been pulled for the building permit, plumbing, the septic, all that stuff's been done. If they posted the actual building app, permit on the retreat, I don't know, you know what I mean, but that has been, done. We just don't have any control over what people do on it. I mean, to a degree, you know what I mean? So if it creates an issue, the only thing I can say, one, is document everything. You know, take your pictures, do your due diligence, document stuff now, so that in the future, if an issue arises, you've documented along the way. I can't just start, harassing these guys and, going on limbs of ideas and things that could happen when I don't have any evidence. I don't have any proof of saying, hey, look, you're creating a runoff problem that's going to affect the neighbors. That's something you'd probably have to get a scientist involved, or a survey or something. I mean, I'm a code enforcement officer. I'm not a geologist, so I don't know what to say, other than the fact that right now they're not in violation. So it's unfortunate, but it is what we're looking at right now.
And so my question is, can we, so maybe I'm screwed, which no surprise there, but can we get an ordinance going where people are not allowed to clear cut right up to your property line? They're a buffer zone, just a buffer zone. Why is that a bad thing?
What we have is a 25-foot setback.
Right.
So I mean, some will choose to keep a buffer between two pieces of property, some won't. I mean, again, it's their property, so in order to pass an ordinance, just so you know, you'd have to go, through the planning board, they'd have to make it up. It would have to be voted on, everybody in town would have to, so if that's something you're interested in, you're more than welcome to talk to the planning board. I don't know if legalities say, all right, if you're gonna play a cut your land, you gotta have a buffer. I don't know, there's some, maybe the attorney, the land board, someone a little more knowledge than I would have some answers for. But right now here, I don't.
Yeah, I would pose that question to the planning board. To ask the legal question.
So, second part of that is clearly the contractors don't care about the noise at all. Like, it's not an issue. I mean, 6:30, banging, trucks, like endless. And so my guess is it's gonna be the same with the builders and generators and all of that. So do we have to listen to that 7 days a week for that one person? The whole
There's
neighborhood?
the
Okay, so
county noise ordinance.
let's get a noise ordinance. Like something, because otherwise,
Yep.
it's like the Wild West. People can do whatever they want, and people wanted to shut down Airbnbs because they're too loud. My Airbnb will lose business from this because people come to be quiet.
So some of that is the same things that you're working against, the same rights that we're fighting for you to keep. So you want to be able to do what you want on your property, so does Alvina, Frank, and Rick. So if we go in and we start delegating, hey, you gotta shut down by 9, you got, your business is gonna be closed by 6. I mean, we're doing the same thing, so it seems kind of retroactive to try and, dictate, what time people can do, I mean, we're just getting into a slippery slope, I believe. It's tough, and like I said, I can certainly understand. It's a temporary process as far as the building. They won't always be banging the generators and equipment in there. But there's no ordinance. I mean, we're losing light. So contractors are trying to take advantage of this weather. Yeah, so there's a couple, different things that are going on here. It's not, just one thing. I mean, so the same rights that we're trying to infringe on somebody else, we're trying to protect with some, you know what I mean, an abutting neighbor. So
However, I'm
it's just tough.
a nice neighbor, so I don't do that kind of crap to my neighbors, It's like, that's just it's kind of ridiculous. So it is, so basically, it's too bad, so sad, really. That's
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
Brass tacks.
Now, ordinance wise. Contact the planning board, see that they can, add changes to the ordinance, but the majority of voters will vote on that ordinance and the changes therein. So if an ordinance is changed and put forth to the voters and they say no, it is what it is. The majority vote rules.
Right.
So.
Right. I mean, I'm all for doing what you want. When it does harm to other people and they end up having to pay for it, then that's not right.
No.
It's like, and especially since there's a wealthier group moving in, and they're the ones that come in and just go, oh, let's clear all this land and put in a pole and and it's like, yeah, maybe that's great that they can do it, but then the repercussions come down to people that are just trying to make it here in Brownfield, and our taxes just went up and everything, and it's just like, I think it's a good time to sell. It's just,
Yes, ma'am.
We do have a noise ordinance.
Yeah, it's well, you call the cops and they follow Oxford County, which is what, 11 to 7 or something like that.
It's 7 days a week in Brownfield.
Yeah.
Quiet neighborhoods that have 3 phase 1 generators that run from 7 in the morning until 5 at night. And I've been dealing with it for 20 years. Talked to our fire chief, he's been out to hear it.
Who's got those?
Yeah, that's the foundry, right?
Pardon?
The foundry.
He'll
Yeah,
he never had a permit in the beginning. He never
He went up here.
to build it.
Up Center Conway, right?
He has a foundry. And he has a generator that's in a building
Up
this.
top?
Downhill the back.
Yeah, up on top.
Yeah.
That's a paid driver. It's all
That chief went out with his decibel meter and he took readings and they were all under, if I'm not mistaken, if you
Sorry. They were like totally under this.
They were, it was lower than what you would have in the town limits. So like high, I go up there all the time.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's loud, you can hear it.
In my house. At 7 AM.
Oh. The way they test it, that's property line. Not at the generator, but it's at the property line.
Mhm.
So they-
Right, yeah, I remember going through the process with the hive, yeah. So that's a-
Later.
That's a home business.
Almost.
Yep.
So this is going off, but, so if that home business sells to a different business and I'm in a butter across the street. Or I'm not a land butter, what are my rights?
If it's a home-owned business, there's no permit requirement per the ordinance. Doesn't matter. If somebody else moves in there and they live there as a resident. If it's a home-owned business, regardless of what it is. There's no change. It doesn't matter. There's no permit requirement.
Change of use.
Right, if
What rights do I have?
Okay,
For the
now,
noise?
I would implore you to read the land use ordinance, okay? Kind of went through a little bit the same. Even change of use, okay? If they sell that property and there's a home on it, and the person that buys that, well, if they convert it to a, like a, what do they call it, a barn dominium or something like that. Now, hear me out, man, hear me out. They live there. And it's under a home-owned business. So when did that go in?
He lives on the duckway. He makes his noises. Sold his house. A lot of money and goes to the duckway.
In the house.
Yeah, over where you're talking, at the foundry.
Yeah,
He doesn't live there.
He lives on, where your house is.
Yeah. On the left,
On the left, just past.
yeah. Okay, so let me understand the situation then, because I guess I'm confused. There's a business that was put on a piece of property, how long ago? Okay, 18 years ago. Was there a requirement 18 years ago to have to pull a permit?
He never had a permit.
My question is, man, when 18 years ago, per the ordinances change and they're dated. Was there a requirement 18 years ago to pull a permit?
Told him he needed a permit for that building.
Right.
And I think he ended up getting fined. I don't know.
Okay, so,
Anybody else?
historical wise, because I don't understand the question. So it's just a build. It's just a single building. Oh, okay. So that makes more sense. All right, now we're talking. Yep. Right, so if it's sold, then that person that, if they were to open. Right, they would have to pull a permit for a new business, yes.
Yes. What
You would be notified, yes, 100%. Right,
And would reach out to the abutting neighbors.
Right.
It's a.
Yeah.
that's a legal process.
That, so tagging on one is, I know there's somebody on Main Street who also is dealing with someone who has a generator.
Yep.
And so, as concerned citizens, I've been here 36 years. And I hate the noise every day. Every day. I have an organic farm. I have a beautiful piece of property and I've been there for 36 years. And I listen to that thing every single day. It sounds like there's an 18-wheeler sitting in my driveway. And I'd like to see something happen with, because we don't have zoning, I was on that zoning committee years ago. But because we don't have zoning, we wouldn't be able to have a commercial business there, if someone wants to go into a commercial business there. That could happen, because we don't have zoning for that, for Brownfield.
Put business anywhere you want.
Because, well, we don't wanna go down that rabbit hole. Cause a lot of people were suspended from their jobs for doing the wrong thing with boats. We don't wanna go down that.
So, wasn't around for that. Okay.
What you have to do, like 100 acre.
Well, see, that's the thing with Wanda, that, she's a friend of mine, but if you can't buy everything around you, you can't, there's nothing we can do to stop people from building
I'll
this.
give you a situation. I had a house for 20, 30 years we was there. And then somebody built a house right behind me.
Yeah, that's what happened to me.
Huh?
That's what happened to me.
Yeah,
I
but
tried
it's
to
not-
buy the property from the granola shop and he sold it for $2,000 more.
It's his land, nothing like.
We've all been there, done that.
There's not like 25 feet.
Well, he's got the distances all right, but I mean, you look out your living room window and the house is right there.
Yeah.
It used to be a nice pasture, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, like Wanda was saying, you have to go into having some kind of a buffer. I mean, it's a discussion we're having, aren't we? Maybe the discussion could go further. Maybe there's other people in town who feel the same way. Because we have so many people coming in and buying up property.
Well, if you want to make changes to any of the ordinances, petition. Get a
Yeah.
petition signed. The town clerk can give you the number of signatures that are required. Yep, so
Planning board meetings, get
That's it.
involved, yeah.
well, the petition would start the process. So it's pretty much where it stands.
Right.
This one.
Good to see you, Michelle.
Anything from the public? Yes, ma'am.
She mentioned that in this week's US News and World Report, they ranked all the schools in the country. And in the state of Maine, we have 226 elementary schools. Brownfield Denmark Elementary School ranked number 4 in the state of Maine. So that's
Nice.
3,000.
Congrats. Oh. I'm impressed.
They ranked number 4 because 95% of students scored at proficiency or above in reading and math both, which is very unusual. So, great job.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to take a minute to thank the board for their support in the efforts of the safety committee to host that meeting that we had here just this morning. It was a meeting that discussed at least several different areas as far as safety for town employees. It was very well attended. I can't click. Yes, because when I arrived, the ladies had it all set up and ready to roll. All I had to do was pick up one of the nice soft chairs, away we went. I do want to thank the board and the folks who participated. The instructor from Safety Works spoke with me outside. She was most enthusiastic. She gave me her business card. She said, the next time you're putting one together, give me a call and I'll see if it's within my bailiwick, whether she handles that, because she'd like to come back because of the excellent situation that she found here today. So we've restarted that safety group, and I would say after today that we're probably gonna be doing okay. We got a good group. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
See you, Bill.
Thanks, Bill. You bet.
Anybody else? Lynn?
Nope.
The school list.
I got several people to look it over and we didn't, none of us found anything wrong with the list.
Okay,
So
Well, I
as
just-
far as we're concerned, it was good and correct.
okay, perfect.
Okay?
Yep.
Well, just one question. Someone called up about the 5G. Someone asked me a question about 5G and if it's gonna be fiber optics all the way instead of microwave or whatever.
No idea.
No, okay.
Couldn't tell you.
On that,
Tell them call Spectrum.
yeah, okay.
They're the ones-
That's what I mentioned to him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're the
call
ones,
Spectrum.
they're the ones rolling out tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, I told him
thought
to
it
call
start
it.
first quarter of next year, which is January through March,
Right.
so.
Yeah, I asked him to call her. He wants to call Eric Walker because he took over.
Yep.
Yeah, so he's gonna.
Well, that's since been disbanded.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, we should have got our $98 check,
We did.
refund check.
We got it.
We got some of our money back, so, yeah, that's all done with. All right. Anything else, folks? No? Awesome. I make the motion we adjourn.
Second.
Thanks.
Thank you, everybody.
Folks.
Thank you. Oh.